Coming back to your question on my experience on salt, I can just say one or two experiences that come on the top of mind, which have been very, which has left a good imprint, I would say. Uh, what I liked about salt was it resonates with uh, the community and also brings out very good experiences which we can transfer to other communities and help communities find a way to realize their dream thereby. So this this I found was something that well, I can elaborate this better with I think an example or a story because that will help to instead of just this will look all very theoretical what I'm saying. And this my first experience on what I would call as a transfer came when we were actually trying to hold what was the knowledge fair, and we didn't know. Uh, we are not done one before, so we had no experience, and we didn't know how to go about it. We were very nervous. We were getting all the a lot of NGOs, a lot of people from UN to come and witness it, and we were working for the UN at that time. So uh, uh, there was only one person who had done it, who had done a knowledge fair before, and that was our supervisor. So he was very confident, but we were the least confident. And we went to, we asked him how it is to be done, and he just gave us a PowerPoint and the format. But when we went through the process, actually on the at the end, when we were very nervous, but we got over it by saying that, okay, what we do today will be the knowledge fair for us, and let us do it that way. Let us do it the way we understand. So we got the format was given, we followed that, and uh, the supervisor was trying to tell us how it is to be done during the knowledge fair and making corrections and all that in the format. And at the end of the day, he was very satisfied, though we were the least confident that we had done a good job. So uh, what I learned from that was it is very easy to a person with experience can easily transfer uh, once he has had the experience. So the supervisor is having the experience, and he had given the format, and we just had to follow with full confidence, not confidence, it's a trust, with full trust in his in that process. So that could wipe out our I would say any wipe out the fears of failure, and and then everybody, when we took the feedback, everybody felt that because they had learned something, they had something to share later on, and a lot of takeaways, because the format was in such a way that it was all uh, we just set the stage, and the NGOs and the community, they would come and they would do the presentation, they would do the what they would do the even the feedback of what they had learned during that session. So this was uh, uh, what was more type of learning from learning by doing and learning from a previous experience that is being transferred to us. One example where uh, you know uh, where the community has transferred this gross knowledge was when I came across. I was working with the migrants at that time, and I came across young boy, young teenager, I would say, who was a migrant from Nepali, who was working in Delhi, no, nearly about 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers away from his hometown. And he was working as a driver for a general manager, one of the top management in a car factory. So we asked him what is his dreams, and in the general run up to the SALT visits that we were doing for that community, migrant community, we asked him that what would be his dream, just like how we had asked everybody, and how he was going to, as the meetings went on, proceeded. Then subsequent meeting, we were asking how he would achieve his dream. So he was saying that he would become a top manager in the factory for which he was working for the top management as a driver. So we asked him how he is going to achieve that. So he had drawn up a plan with a few of his own colleagues, and that was very was like an eye opener, because we never thought that he could dream this big. He was at that point not very well educated, and it's not an easy task for somebody from the lowest rung in the ladder, to climb up to the topmost level. So we thought it's a very far-fetched dream, and we were a bit. I would say we were really skeptical about how we were going to achieve that. We thought it's just going to be all talk, and we were not going to achieve it. So when he actually outlined his plan of action, when we moved from dream to plan of action, then we saw that he had put in very good. He got help from his own colleagues and all boys like him, teenage boys, and they had detailed a very workable plan of action, a very achievable plan of action to achieve what looked impossible to us. So it was very simple. Like, he would set up a mechanical shop because his strength was driving, and he knew a lot of he knew a little bit about mechanics. So, and he would employ mechanics in that shop. He is already he's already working in a mechanical shop, and thereby he's also earning extra income to set up that shop. He's already seen and scouted places which can be converted into a shop, cheap places which could be converted into a shop. So his plan of action was something like 10 or 15 years. And with that money that he got from the shop and from the driving, apart from supporting his parents back home in Nepal, he would save up enough to do his studies in management after completing his schooling and this thing. So that was the plan, and it was detailed for about some 10 to 12 years plan he had drawn up. So this was the gist of the plan, but the specifics and the details of it also, he had gone into the details, and we helped him also because he had got the backbone right. It was very easy to flesh it out for us. And but we given had the dream alone be presented to us, we would have been we who were so educated and so what we thought well known about how to go about plan of actions and all that, we would have not come up with such a workable plan of action as he had come out with. So it was a good way of I learned a lot from that teenage boy, and it all went out. It all strengthened my belief that if we are trying to live a dream, that is, a dream is not a reality, but we are trying to live it out and make it a reality, then a better plan of action comes to our mind, which is more suitable for our circumstances and given our our disadvantages and what strengths we have. All this put together, he was able to come out with, because we are not living in his shoes, we couldn't have come up with such a plan. That is what I learned from the whole thing. So I also learned that what looks unachievable dream can be achieved if we actually sit together with the community and put all our brains together, so that experiences and even what that thought wisdom from many brains come together and formulate what we call as there's a specific word in knowledge management for that. I'm forgetting it now. Uh, uh, we harvest the knowledge from many people, and we formulate a plan. For that, there's a specific. I'm forgetting the word, but he had used that without knowing that process. He has used that himself, and we have learned it by uh, what is that by attending workshops and conferences. We have learned these processes. Um, just like necessity is the mother of invention, he has come up. He has adopted a process which has learned at that time, and it did work beautifully for him. I'm sure that now he is on his way to achieve his dream. And there's been only a few years, must be about 5 or 6 years since the incident happened. But I'm sure he must be doing very well on that, because the support he has from his friends, and also from the community that was the migrant community around him. He looked well set to achieve it. So this was a very uh, uh, an incident that left an imprint on my mind, that uh, one can really achieve whatever impossible dream, whatever looks impossible to us, if he tries to live that dream, and he tries to uh, approach people who know, and share his dream and get their inputs on to how to achieve that dream. So, we should not be shy of dreaming, and we should not be complacent with people who dream very ordinary dreams. We must egg them on to uh, go for almost what looks impossible to them. So that is what uh, um, I learned, and usually it helped me counter people who are, whom I call the moderates. They like to go in for a safe dream, which is achievable dream, they call it. And they say that if you put a very unachievable dream, then person who's trying to achieve the dream may get put off by the unachievable tag on it. So uh, I have now turned that. We have learned to turn that upside down, and always uh, go for the uncomfortable and unachievable dream. So it may not be comfortable, but it helps us to explore, and the person also to progress much more further than they think that they can progress. So that is what I learned from that experience. So these two experiences, one my own, that workshop where we thought, the unknown, the fear of the unknown, we could get, you can get over it with having somebody who's experienced and guiding you, who's given you the process to how you can do it, and trusting, the question of trust in that process. And the second one, what I said was uh, about going in for the unachievable dream, with the help of, yeah, I got it. Is something to peer mentoring, I think, with the peer mentoring, or peer. The one, it comes to the peer. The first word is peer, and one more word comes in that peer knowledge, in that technique of knowledge management. So, with the help of peers, you can easily achieve whatever be your dreams. So that is what I saw happening in front of me. So I found that salt has its own uniqueness.
Yeah.
The most unique thing I found that salt was uh, the equality of being a human being. What makes us human, no? That equality. You are equal with everybody, whether whatever position they are holding in the organization, or all that is nothing. And basically, we all connect as human beings, and we share our what we learn as human being only. And and we also, whenever we go to the community, we use the humanity to connect to people and also to learn from them. It is only after we connect, people start sharing, and only when people share, we can learn. So without coming to that common equality, we can never progress on this process. That is what has been my experience, and what has helped me also, because once we start off with the human being commonality of being a human being, then it's very easy to open people up and learn, make them share and learn from them, because the time we spend in the community, after we travel, like I said, my communities are somewhere in Assam, or we spend nearly a day to travel to reach there by flights, I mean. And then also we may spend only a few hours, but we have to strike a rapport with them within that hour, and also learn as much as possible during that few hours that we get with them. So if we are going to uh, bring our mask on, saying that we are experts, or we are on designations, or anything that goes against the commonality of the other person, then the differences, if we are going to bring in the differences, then immediately that person is also going to uh, go into his shell, I would say, whatever his shell is, and he's not going to share, or he or she is not going to share. And this is this is the biggest impediment to learning. So learning experiences from others. So we have to learn, whoever it is, we have to learn from the community, and we have to learn from their experiences, because the community has got the experiences, and we may have what is only the empirical knowledge, but not the experiential knowledge. We can get empirical knowledge always at any time from books and then internet and all that, but experiential knowledge we can only gain by sitting with experienced people, and uh, you know uh,
Share.
uh, getting them to share it. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
these things are unique in our approach, in our SALT approach, where we give emphasis for commonality, where we give emphasis for experiential knowledge, where we give emphasis for learning, and also, you know, uh, correcting ourselves. We are not always right. We can go back. Experience can always correct empirical knowledge. So empirical knowledge can take what we say U-turns, and we always say that experience is right, empirical can be right, and um, can change also. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what these these things I like about salt, and
Mm-hmm.
it helps us to uh, it helps us to go into any community for any type of uh, work they are doing, and anyone can walk in, learn. Say, I may not be an expert or so-called expert in what that diabetes or immunization or whatever you call it, what that microfinance, to go to those particular communities that are working on them, and to learn from them. I can be a simple human being, and approach them that way and say, I want to learn about microfinance. I don't know. I'm a doctor, but I don't know anything about microfinance. Can you, how have you been saving
Mhm.
money? Where you are working to, what type of work you are doing to get these cooperatives or whatever organization that self-help groups or whatever you have formed. How have you gone about it? I can easily learn from them by approaching them through our process, much more easier than going through an rigid, what you call the other development process that they have, like evaluations or what you call it. So this would give us more, mm, subjective and experiential data or experiences we will get. And then if we go through the rigid formats, we'll get only those uh, what what you thought you should be looking for, not what they wanted to share. So there's a big gap between both of that, and that gap was always unexpected, and it is where the real knowledge lies.